What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Phase 6, your source for music, business, motivation, and support. It's your boy, Sir Love. We have another dope topic for you today. We're getting ready to talk about how to find a music manager. How do you go about acquiring one? This is a conversation or question that I get asked all the time, so I want to make sure that I'm delivering answers to you guys. So I want you to hold tight, get ready for it, like, subscribe, because if you haven't seen a Phase 6 video and you're not subscribed to Phase 6 already, it's going to be something you want to be a part of. So let's jump into it. Let's get to it, Phase 6. Straight into it. We're talking about how do you find a manager. Okay, now this is a thing that is, going to be different for every individual based on their individual situation. However, there's things that I want you to remember. There's things that you guys can actively do to take a little bit more control over your career, to try to attract the people that you want to attract to be a part of your career. So the first thing that I tell you to do is, if you're looking for a manager, recognize that it's all about your network and your work. What do I mean by network and work? I mean the people that you know, and more importantly these days, who knows you is going to be a network, right? And their ability to put in work. Like, what area are you proficient in? What area are you really killing it? What is your strength outside of the music you do? Okay, from a marketing standpoint, are you dope with social media? Do you have a huge following in reference to shows and different things of that nature? Like, what is it that you do? Like, what is there for someone to manage? A lot of times I see artists out here saying, I want a manager, but what is there to manage? Is there something to manage in the first place? So that takes me back to, what does a manager do? Well, a manager comes in, looks at all the different things you have going on, and says, I'm going to help you become more efficient in these different things. I'm going to help you get better in these things. I'm going to help advance these different things, and based off the skill sets that I have as a manager, right? But if you don't have these things, meaning you don't have anything going on in your career right now, there's really nothing to manage. And what you're really doing is you're reaching out to a person and saying, hey, I want you to do work for me. I really want you to put that in perspective. You're walking up to a person and saying, hey, I need help. Work for me. Do the job that I'm supposed to be doing for me, because I don't know how to do it. I don't have the time to do it. I'm too lazy to do it. I'm not focused on doing it, etc., etc., etc. So the first thing you need to be asking yourself is, are you really ready for a manager conversation? Is there something for the manager to do? The manager's job is not just to make you hot, it's to make you pop, to come in and do work for you. Okay, that's the first thing I want you to think about. The second thing is, if you are ready for a manager, if you do have things going on, you are performing, you do have some crazy social media following, your SoundCloud or whatever is going crazy, your Spotify is going off, or you got offers coming in and you don't know what deals to take, and people trying to sign you, you don't know what's going on. Like, okay, you need a manager. So let's talk about it. How do you find a manager in this particular space? Well, the number one way that people find managers is proximity. Write this down, guys. Proximity. What do I mean by proximity? It means that somebody's close to you. Perfect example is Lil Baby. Lil Baby gets fresh out of jail. He has a close relationship with P. P is one of the owners of Solid Foundations Management. Solid Foundations Management is a partner to QC, which is Quality Control, which is ran by Coach K, which is Migos and Lil Yachty and all these different people and all that, right? Solid Foundations has Trippie Redd and Cardi B and Migos and Yachty and all these different people, right? This guy gets out of jail and he has a close relationship with P. He's telling P his story. P hears his story and says, wow, you have a marketable story. I really want to help put you on. I really see an avenue for you. And hey, because of proximity alone, take the talent away, he was able to get success. Now, I'm not saying the guy's not talented. I actually like Lil Baby's music personally, but proximity allowed him to secure that situation. So the first thing you probably need to do is sit back and say, who do you know? And more importantly, who knows you? Who are people in this space that are active, or who do you know that knows someone that you can reach out to, that you can have more of a personal interaction with? Because if someone's coming to me, I can go back how I even started managing the artist that I'm managing right now. A friend of mine was managing the artist already, or was attempting to manage the artist, but had no history in management prior to. It was starting to get thick, things were starting to grow. He said, hey, can you help me out? If it wasn't for my friend, I wouldn't have been involved with managing the artist. So proximity is a real big thing. Sometimes you gotta know someone that knows someone to make something happen. So in order to increase your likelihood of getting a manager going that particular route, you need to be out networking all the time and making friends. Make genuine friends. Networking is all about making real friends. It's not about, hey man, I want to network with you. I want to make something happen with you. Give me a number. Let's build. No, man. It's about creating real relationships with real people so that you can call them later. So that's number one, proximity. Number two is going to be on the scene. What do I mean about being on the scene? If you don't know what the scene is, then you're not on it. Okay, there is a scene. Like, I'm in Atlanta right now. There's certain places in Atlanta where independent artists go to get on. Period. If you don't know where these places are, then you're not on the scene. If you're not performing in these places regularly, you're not on the scene. Because managers and executives and A&Rs are in these spaces all the time. Walking in, watching, checking who's doing what, seeing who's hot, making phone calls and to their favorite promoters or favorite booking agents or favorite club owners and saying, yo, who's hot now? Who's doing this now? Who's whatever. That's how we find out what's going on. We go to where the scene is. That's old school A&R. That's the stuff that people say they don't do anymore. No, cats are doing that. I mean, I ran into the VP of Interscope Promotions at a house party type music event. Right? You wouldn't even expect the guy to be in there. No one knows who he is, but he's in there working. Done deal, walked in the same building. Right? And a lot of the artists on the floor didn't even know who he was because they don't know what he looks like because they're not students of the game. That's another conversation altogether, but watch the Student of the Game video. So being on the scene is going to give you a lot of exposure, and it's going to allow people to see what you really have popping. It's going to allow someone to see, do you really have a fan base? Do people know your song? Do people come out and rock with you? Do the promoters rock with you? That type of information is going to be very telling for someone that wants to manage you. They'll see you got a lot going on. You need some help. The promoter will tell them. He'll be like, yo, man, this guy's killing it, man, but he really don't know what he's doing. This, that, and the third. You should really check out the kid. Like, people will co-sign and stamp you if you're out there putting in work on the scene. Put in work on the scene. That's a very quick and easy and effective way to get a manager, because a manager wants to work with an artist that's putting in work. That's the most valuable artist you can represent, is someone that puts in work and enjoys the process of putting in work. All right. Number 3, I want to wrap this thing up. I don't want to make this thing too long. Number 3, another way that you can go about getting a manager is actually doing your research and looking up managers that are representing other artists that you're interested in. Right. And when I say this, I don't necessarily mean go straight to the top. Like, you don't necessarily reach out to Scooter Braun out the gate. Right. There's some manager that's local in your area, that's representing other acts, is doing other things, that may be interested in you if you can show him your work ethic and your talent and all the different things you got going on. Like I said at the beginning, do you have something to manage? If there is something there to manage and you come to a local manager, he sees an opportunity, he or she sees an opportunity to get behind this thing and create revenue and create value for themselves, it's a good look for them, they'll likely jump on board. So how do you do that? Well, look up all the bills of all the other local acts that are performing, see who represents them, go to the show, talk to the manager backstage, like, be active, be in somebody's face, get their number. When you get their number, talk to them, send them emails, send them text messages, send them gifts, you know what I'm saying, whatever, get their attention. Like, I've had people reach out to me and honestly I'll go, yo, I really need to hit this guy back. Then I get a phone call. A phone call is a business call, leads to another call, another call, another call. 4 hours later, I forgot about the person that sent me a text message. If that person is feeling insecure and saying, oh man, I hit him, he didn't hit me back, then they're never going to hit me again. I'm going to forget about them and they're going to feel like I don't care. That's not the case. I'm just busy, just like any other executive in the game. A person is busy, so you got to hit a person over and over and over and over again, because it's not that they're ignoring you a lot of times. It's just that you're not their first priority and they will forget about your presence. So stay in communication, stay in contact, but you got to physically make interactions with these individual people. You can do the same thing online. I say number 4, if I had to put one more category in there for everyone that's not, really out there. Maybe you're a kid and you don't have a car or whatever it is, and you're not really out there. You're doing the whole social media thing. If your social media is popping, you need to be trying to get these individuals to follow you, right? Don't be getting their DMs asking these guys to help you and do this and be my manager and represent me. And don't do all that. Just try to see if you can get them to follow you. Tell them, hey, I'm out here working. I'm an artist. I'm doing my thing. I just wanted to know if you can follow me and see my journey. I'm doing this, that, and the third. Here's a YouTube link. Here's this, blah, 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 blah. And then they can watch you put in work. They'll sit there and watch you on their timeline for the next year or two and go, you know what? This kid's been putting in work, or 6 months, or however long it takes for them to realize your work. All right, or however long it takes for you to put in enough work for them to actually feel like they need to get active with you. So it's all about building a real, tangible relationship versus stepping out there and asking someone, put in work for me. Help me. What do you help you? Why? Why should I help you? That's how a manager is going to feel. Like, you want me to come in and do the work that you're supposed to be doing. No, I'm just supposed to come in and assist. right? So make sure you have some things going on already in your career that's worth having a manager. Make sure that you're being personable. Try to create proximity with these people by getting closer and having real relationships with them. Try to have real relationships online. Try to have real relationships in person. And this is how you go about getting a manager. There are people right now that when I think about the next level things that I want to do, that I'm already looking at saying, okay, I'll probably deal with these people. And it's just because we've been going back and forth and corresponding for X amount of time, and I see their value, right? But right now, today, there may not be a play for me to help them. Just because I'm a manager doesn't mean I'm going to stop everything that I'm doing to help you, because it may take me off my trajectory. And a lot of managers feel that way. They have a mission, a goal they're trying to accomplish. And if you're not in the fold of that, they really can't deal with you right now. But that doesn't mean they're not looking at you. That doesn't mean they don't want to work with you in the future. So I could keep talking about this forever when it comes to management. I might do another part 2 or something like this to it to add a little bit more extra sauce on it. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to make sure that you guys have the tools that you need. We just did a whole info pack on how to be a music manager. And honestly, I feel like it's worth it for artists to take a read of it, to take a stab at it, to take a look at it. If you are a music manager, you're someone that's trying to be a music manager or aspires to be an executive, A&R, etc., definitely feel like you should take a chance and look over this document, because it's really going to give you perspective and insight into what a manager needs to do for themselves in order to help an artist. That's what 101 is all about. 102 is going to be about what the manager needs to do for the artist to help the artist. And because I'm trying to answer all these questions and create, some type of vessel to do so without having to do hours and hours and hours and hours of film where I can really detail this thing for you guys. This is all about helping you guys win the game. So I hope all of this is helpful. Like, subscribe, follow, ask me questions. We're starting another series called Ask Sir Love. So shoot me some questions. You can shoot some in the comments below. There's nothing wrong with that. Go ahead and leave some questions in the comments. Also, you can leave a more detailed question on the website, www.phasedi.com. Go to the website and check us out. Link, all the information is in the bio. I have nothing else to say. Thank you guys for your time. Until next time. Sir Love.